Ciao ragazzi, my name is Anthony. Welcome back to Zona Calcio here on Inter Worldwide. It is our second episode and it is an absolute pleasure to be joined by the gang, the new edition of Zona Calcio coming in strong today. Armando, how are you, amigo?
Not bad, Bello. How are you? How are you, Adam? And look like there's already 3 people watching us, so excited today. Gonna be a good episode.
Yeah, very good. There's actually on all platforms, there's 11 people here on Inter Worldwide right now. And Adam, thank you for joining us, man. Oh, no way. It's going to be a delayed response
Adam is
again.
back. He's
back.
He's got it again.
Better than ever. Armando, do me a big favor. Message him with your phone again and tell him to just use his phone. Tell him to just put his phone on properly. And then
he messaged us. He's probably gonna do it. He's already messaged us.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna come back with the phone. So while we're waiting for him to come back with the phone, we can start talking really trash about Roma, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Let's have a look at the quick results because today we're going in strong with the Mercato edition to pretty much just make sure that everybody is aware of the last minute signings, the last minute squads, and what they look like. Let's see if Adam can come back in. Yo, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I'm back.
You can hear us. Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Yep. Welcome back to the show, man. Welcome back. We'll make it a regular occurrence on here, the delayed feedback, man. It'll become a trademark part of the show. People will look forward to it.
Well, I promise I'll sort it out before the next show.
No, that's fine. Christian.
Hey, Christian, I did this for you, Christian. I did this for you, my friend.
This guy is head and shoulders the funniest subscriber on my channel, man. He never misses a beat, whether it's about the weather, whether it's about my dog. Brilliant. Anyway, you know who wasn't on point? Inter 2-1 to Udinese. Surprised most of us, some of us more than others. Definitely not me completely, but hey, I love a good rage on a Tuesday morning, on a Monday morning. Who doesn't? Lazio obviously kicked themselves into gear against who I deem to be definite relegation contenders this season with Verona. I don't know about you boys, but there's a few squads in Serie A this season that look like they'd make a really good shout for mid-table Serie B, and I was going to get to that at some point in the next couple of weeks. I don't want to, count those eggs before they hatch, but I'm looking at some very trashy, bummy squads in Serie A this season, but we'll get to that later down the track in the next few weeks. Juve held on, and who is it again? The player that keeps scoring no matter who is criticizing him. The player who just keeps scoring, Dusan Vlahovic, wins the game for them. Torino and Fiorentina have the ball draw of the match day. Sombong Gisa with borderline last kick of the game for 3 points for Armando and Napoli. Pisa, they'll show guts this season, man. I feel like they've got a lot to play for, and I can't wait to hear what Adam has to say about that game. But precious points are precious points at the start of the season. Bologna brings Como back down to earth. Parma and Atalanta played exactly the way I thought Parma and Atalanta would play, especially with Ivan Juric there. Milan got themselves off the mark, and Cremonese have 6 points from 6, and the Red Bull pumping Jamie Vardy to go with it, man. That's going to be an absolute scene. We've got 19 people on Inter Worldwide. Let's say hello to Christian, channel members Nick Knox and Ian Kerr as well. It's good to see you, Nick Knox. I know you're always very busy this time as well. So, yeah, let's go straight to you, Armando. Any thoughts on the overall match day, but in particular, obviously, talk to us about your game against Cagliari. I don't think anybody expects anything champagne-y from anybody this point of the year, especially Antonio Conte. So 3 points are 3 points no matter how you get them.
Oh, first of all, good evening to everybody in the chat. I love it to see everybody interacting. Now going back straight away to here. To be honest, no big surprise. We spoke about Vlahovic last week. I told you that to me it's so underrated simple because the big price and the big salary. So they've been always big expectation. Also, it's been played one of the worst Juventus in the last 15 years. So is it his fault or, regarding the result, I watched the Napoli game, even if we only won 1-0 with the last second goal. Tuna can't hear me now. Can you hear me, Anthony? Yeah?
I can hear you fine. I can hear you fine, but keep going.
Sorry, I stopped because the Tuna was writing to us. Napoli dominate the whole game. We could have scored 3 or 4 way earlier. Surprised by Cagliari, they just come and park the bus. They almost reached the point, but I don't think that's the way they can go and try to get points against a big team, because eventually a big team always got an individual to score a goal. I agree with you. There's a couple of teams that, like Verona this year, they're going to really struggle to have some good games.
I agree.
Big surprise to me was the lost Como lost game. I was expecting them to be better, to be honest. And no surprise by Milan beating Lecce, even with the Quando squad they got, because Lecce is a really good team. And Cremonese beating Sassuolo. Is this Cremonese going to keep going this way? I have a private story about Cremonese. I bumped into them 5 years ago when I went to watch Napoli pre-season camp. Cremonese came and played a friendly game with Napoli. And they were like Serie D or Serie C2 back then. And they already start planning to be in Serie A soon. They were using a lot of Napoli Primavera player, and even now they got a couple of Napoli players in the squad. So I'm not surprised to see them now, because I saw the way they were programming and playing when they were in Serie C2. So it takes a long way, man, to come back to Serie A. But hats off to them, because it's a long process. And the last but not least, Atalanta. Is Juricic already affecting them? We will see.
Well, the thing is, he's the perfect manager if you want to finish from 9th to 12th and go on holiday in March, and everybody gets paid more than what their contract is worth. So if Atalanta fans and Atalanta are okay, like I remember us discussing 2 years ago, where as soon as the Gasparini train comes to an end, it'll be like that. They'll be a 9th to 12th place team again.
Listen, the only team I have no comment, it's Inter Udinese, because I want you to have fun on that. But for me, this result surprised me less than the 5-0 win against Torino. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
The 5-0 against Torino surprised me more than I lost at home against Udinese. Thinking about the last 3 months of Inter, I was more expecting a loss against Udinese than had such a big victory against Torino. Not that I expect them to lose, but out of the two, this one surprised me less.
But also as well, like this Torino side is shit compared to a few seasons ago as well. They've got, look at this side, it's weak. I'm telling you, this is a very weak looking Serie A this season, bar a few teams at the top on paper. I've been looking at all the squads very closely, and I see very little talent that has had experience across the European landscape. I see very little talent that has resumes, CVs, trophy cabinets, any sort of experience to back up much. It's starting to look very, very mediocre and average in this league across the board through many squads. Torino doesn't look good even though they beat us 2-1. We let an average Udinese side run over us as well. But let's go over to Adam.
I need to agree. The top 6, 7 will have a big gap this time. I got that feeling. For the first time in many years, there'll be a big gap.
Yeah, it's looking very, very trashy, especially towards the bottom end of the table. Ads, I'm sure you can hear us now. Your overall thoughts on the match day. We're just covering it quickly before we go into reviewing the whole transfer market and what we expect the season to come through now.
Yeah, well, no huge surprises for me apart from the Inter result. Obviously, I wasn't expecting that. And to be fair, like I don't know if the result speaks for the game itself. Having watched it, I think Inter did dominate. Spewing that DiMarco's goal was disallowed because that was a perler, but. Yeah, look, it was a shock result. I think Napoli struggling at home in parts to Cagliari as well was a little bit surprising. Even though if you watch the last 20 minutes of that game, it was pretty much watching like half-court basketball, where Cagliari were camped in their half and almost got the deserved point in the end. But Anguissa stepped up to win the game, and yeah, that's what good teams do, as we know. Like backs to the wall. They just find a way to win, and Napoli did that, and that's why they continue to be the favourites to take out Serie A this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it wouldn't be a show without us being able to cover the market, because we won't get to talk about this until January again. So let's run through all of the big sides and then a couple of random moves that took us by surprise on deadline day or towards the end as well. And let's talk about what changes things between now and last week. Look, we spoke about Milan last week. We already knew that Ricci and Modric are on different ends of the age scale, but one with a lot of potential, the other one with 5 Champions Leagues under his belt, an absolute legend of the game. You got to love the way Luka Modric has performed throughout his career and behaved throughout his career. The opposite can be said for their latest signing, Adrien Rabiot, who comes with a hell of a lot of baggage and a fresh dressing room fight as well at Marseille to go with it. Never a dull day and a dull moment with the Rabiot family, as we all know as well. Let's start with Adam this time. Milan, what changes for you? Anything apart from last week? They did get their 2-0 win over Lecce. They did add Adrien Rabiot and his mother to their transfer list as well. I actually think, I think for all sake, he's not a bad player. We know he's not a bad player. We definitely know he can bring something to their midfield experience-wise and ability-wise. Was it 4 years, Bud? Can you confirm that? Because if it's 4 years, that's the real stupid part of the deal for me. I'll actually confirm. What do you think about the deal in whole? I'll cross-reference it.
Yeah, well, I think with Rabiot, I've got a different appreciation for him. Recently, I watched that Marseille documentary or series on YouTube in French with English subtitles. But I've got a different appreciation for him watching that because obviously I didn't know what it was like in the in back of house and in the change rooms, and he was portrayed as someone that was really positive, got along with his teammates, was respectful, and all those sort of things, and really a leader amongst a team. And he come in obviously with De Zerbi there last season, brought him in, and then as we know, what played out recently with the change room bust up with Jeremy Rowe and both of them leaving the club. I'll go back to your question, but just the beauty of the next round is that Milan play Bologna, and Jeremy Rowe's now at Bologna. So I hope they're both on the field, and love to see if they get near the ball together and see what happens. But it's strengthened Milan. I think if you take away the disciplinary issues with Rabiot and what we know of late, I think he's a great acquisition for him. I think they've just bolstered their midfield by adding him, if they can get the most out of him, because the boy can play. There's no doubting that. So yeah, well, interesting to see how he progresses. The fact that Modric has been probably Milan's best player over the first two match days, sort of makes agreeable to the point what you said earlier, Anthony, about this Serie A this season probably being the weakest that we've seen for a while. If you do the spread across all the squads, so yeah, that's certainly proof of that. The guy's quality, right, and he's
a beauty to watch. Even at this age, I was just watching him shaking my head. He's a beauty to watch.
The longevity he's had in that position, 99% of players will never have at the top level. You could probably count them on one hand in the last 10 years, right? But yeah, the fact that he's the standout is the issue, I think, as good as he is. So Milan, Salamaker's back, which is a great acquisition. Spewing he didn't stay with us. Who else did they sign on deadline day? Was it Adley? Or they getting back?
No, they signed Christopher Nkunku basically on deadline day from Chelsea. But they paid in full for him, and he's got a pretty bad injury record. Dropping 37 million on him is a bit of a gamble.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Armando?
Look, it's funny because lots of people got lots of hype around the Milan midfield. I don't understand. No, Ricci is nothing special for me. It could be. Could be. Modric, you know how much I'm a fan of fitness. He looks nice and fresh on the pitch now because he didn't do the preseason. He came straight from the World Cup. He had a couple of weeks off, and the other team are having their legs. When the season is going to be more into November, December, the ground is going to be heavier. Everybody else's pace is going to increase. He's going to struggle. There's got no way he can keep up. So it's a early shot. You will see because that's what the age does, man. The guy's 40. He's not 32, 33, or 34. He's 40. And I know because I went through that myself. You can't keep up with the youngest one. Doesn't matter how hard you training. It's another level, another speed. Rabiot is interesting because he's a good player. We all, if we don't know there is a good player, then we are lying to ourselves. But it comes with the packaging. And like Adam, I can't wait to see Milan Bologna just for the fight. I'm gonna go and bet some money. Milan, it's a team that is a very weak defense, like one of the weakest one. It's a level of relegation team defense. And attacking wise, put this way, they're playing with players that were third or fourth option for Milan last year, and now they're starting players. So I'll be very worried about if I was a Milan fan right now. Regardless the mega galactico midfield that everybody's talking about, I don't see nothing special, to be honest.
The only reason it might keep up is because of their lack of fixtures this season, man. If they had a rotational fixture to play mid-season, they'd be effed for all money. Let's move on from Milan. Let's go on to Juve, who actually had a decent deadline day, had a more active last day than they did the last 2 months put together. I think they've definitely bolstered up top a lot with depth, but still a lot of question marks in terms about who will play where and whatnot, because a lot of Tudor's formation still centers around using a central number 9, which is what Vlahovic is, which is what Jonathan David is. And to be honest, I don't know how he's going to figure out this situation between the two attackers, but I still like the moves on deadline day, and I do like Zegrova as well. I definitely have been watching him for a while, so not too bad. And I think that with the squad that they've got, if they are going to prioritize Serie A over making any sort of run in Europe, then Tudor might have something to work with right here. We'll start with Armando first. What do you think of their deadline day and their market as a whole? Because who was the other gentleman that they signed? Was it Openda? It was Luis Openda from Leipzig. Who he himself is a center forward. He himself is a center forward. So you basically got 3 number 9s now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I did not understand that buy. Maybe they still want to get rid of Vlahovic, which is surprising, because to me Vlahovic is the best striker. I don't rate David at all. Canadian players, like American players, they never would play my dealers. I will never have any of those kind of nationality in my team. It's just not good enough. Did you see the goal that he missed this weekend? Like, my dog would have scored that goal. So please. So to me, Vlahovic got it's another level, Vlahovic. So I think Juventus' best buy this year, it's Vlahovic. They have a very interesting attacking line. I really like Zerkovia. Very good in the 4-3-3. I think he plays on the left. So it would be interesting to see, because if you play Vlahovic in the 4-3-3 in the center, Zerkovia on the left, and what's his name on the right, and number 10, that's going to be an interesting attacking line. The question I have for Juventus is similar to what I have for AC Milan. Did you see their defense line?
Yeah, they're basically all relying. It's all relying on Bremer.
Exactly, and they midfielder too. I don't, it's the same team the last year. So attacking wise, good Mercato, but I don't think they're a complete squad. I like the attacking line. I will take all 3 of them in Napoli, because I like all 3 of them. Even if Zerkovia will probably be third choice in Napoli right now. But Vlahovic, I've been a big fan of Vlahovic. I've been saying that from day one. So,
Well,
it'd be interesting if he. I don't think he's gonna go to the Turkish league. I think the main problem Juventus have with Vlahovic is that probably Vlahovic will leave on free transfer next year. So we need to see how much they are interested.
That's going to be a big
how much
problem.
they are interested to play him this year. Are they gonna gamble, play him because he's the best player? Because that's by far the best player, in my opinion.
Overall,
or they're gonna try.
If they don't get money for him, overall, it was a 75 million euro transfer commitment with at least 12 million euros per season over the last 4 years. So it's over a 120 million euro investment. They have to get something for him. You can't let him leave on free. If I were them, I'd be sitting him down right now going, let's just negotiate a 1-year extension and we will get you out the door for something next season.
The plus Napoli on that alone is just incredible.
Sorry, Adam?
The plus Valenza on that alone, on him being still at the club, is huge. They could open up so much more in terms of their economy, in terms of bringing players in, if they were to get rid of him. But for me, sorry to interrupt, but for me, they've really only got. There's only 3 players in that starting lineup that are mid to world class, and they are Bremer, Yildiz, and Vlahovic. And Vlahovic seems like
Yildiz. I forgot his name. Yeah. Sorry, Yildiz.
And Yildiz. The rest, the defense. I'm scratching my head. Kalalu and persisting with Gatti.
Kalulu, Gatti, and Lloyd Kelly.
Yeah. And getting Kostic back and bringing Miretti back and. Players that have been tried and tested, but probably haven't had an opportunity under Tudor either. So maybe he's seen something that previous coaches haven't. So, do we think that they're going to be a player, guys, for the Scudetto this season? Because the top 4, I don't know where to place them at the moment, and it's probably too early to make a judgment. But I don't know where they're at. I need to see them. Maybe by around match day 6, we might have a better idea.
You have a
look,
better
it's very hard
idea.
to predict
You have a better
now.
idea based on which Italian teams get knocked out of Europe first.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's gonna be hard to be in knockout of Europe because Champions League we're gonna all play all 9 games or 8 games, whatever. So that's gonna come up and at the end of January. By then you'll have already an idea. But let's say as a Mercato, as of today, I don't see them going for top 2. I see Roma ahead of them, and then of course I see Napoli ahead of them, and I still see Inter better, even with all the trouble. But I see them better than Milan, anybody else. So definitely top 4 for now. On paper, looking at the Mercato, then you never know. You can have the next Kvaratskhelia coming from any of those teams that sign up on nobody, and things changes.
Yeah.
Fair call.
Zagrova is probably the wild card. Like we don't know what's going to happen. He might be like a Carva at Napoli where he explodes, but untried and tested in Serie A. So we'll just keep tabs and see how he goes.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
Did they sign João Mario from Porto as well?
They did sign João Mario from Porto. They sent Alberto Costa in the opposite direction.
That's right.
Yeah, see, you know what they remind me? This Juventus? It reminds me of the Napoli of Mazzari when we had Cavani, Lavezzi. Our attacking line was unbelievable. But then at the back, we had Cannavaro Jr., we had I don't even remember the name of the player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the coin is flipped. You go for the striker to put some hype, and you have to back up, guys. The best defense wins you the league. Regardless what people say about Guardiolismo or Liverpool style. You can play the football when you got the superstars, but otherwise you're gonna play the real football, which is try not to consider.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, we'll come back to Juve again in the next couple of weeks. Let's go over to you, Armando. Couldn't fit all your signings on one slide. You fucking greedy. Anyway, Højlund, De Bruyne, and Vanya, they take spotlight on here. And you know what? Højlund is a hard-working player. I watch Manchester United a lot. He gives 1,000,000,000%, bro. He's going to be your jack in the box this season. I just absolutely know it. However, I will put you on the spot and say, I know you didn't rate him at Atalanta. I know you called him a bacala at Atalanta, but all's going to be forgiven soon, bro. Watch. He's a system player.
Listen,
you know what? One thing I will say, he's strong, man. He looks like he's got a weak face, but body to body wise, he's not a weak player.
Listen, so personally, I'm really scared of players coming from Atalanta. Having said so, with Conte, I'm not scared of anybody, because if Conte wants a player, he sees something in the player, I'm pretty sure. Plus, Napoli last year won the Scudetto without having the best attack. And I had the best attack and the best striker for many years, and it brought nothing. We had the Higuain, we had the Cavani, we had the Mertens, we had the top scorer of the league for many seasons. And guess what? Last year, we won with the midfielder scoring goal. We already started with the midfielder, McTominay, Anguissa, so realistic. If the striker makes the job that Conte wants, to drag the players away, to make the space, to do the 1-2, to create the opportunity for the midfielder to score. And at the end of the day, like I said, I'm really excited. What I really appreciate of Napoli this year was, first of all, it gave all the most important players in their position before we even start the preseason to Conte. I liked the fact that Lukaku got injury, unexpected long-term injury. We changed our marketing strategy and we went straight away to get a striker. So it shows you the power of the club. That's why I'm happy about Napoli Mercato, because it shows the power. Now, be the best on the Mercato mean nothing, because then you have to deliver on the pitch. But it's not the players that we sign that excite me. Excite me the way Napoli acting right now. De Laurentiis announced that he bought a piece of land to build the Centro Sportivo now. It was announced on the same day that they announced Holland. The ongoing talking about the stadium for the first time ever this week, Napoli Mayor and Napoli Council said, we have nothing against the new Napoli Stadium and the area where they want to build now. So they start having some opening, which is the biggest issue in Italy, the politician. So it looks like we go. Sorry, you know better than me. Roma almost have everything ready to go, and then they got stuck. So I like the direction where we're going. Is a direction that started 2 years ago. 3 years ago. We had a year of learn how to manage it to be a top club, because Napoli won the Scudetto the first year with Spalletti, and we got crumbled under the pressure. We got stolen a coach by the federation. They're supposed to protect the clubs. Instead, they went to put a coach under contract. We got stolen a technical director, and De Laurentiis' ego, they won't accept him to, but he learned big time. The year that we finished 10th, I think was the best thing could ever happen to us, because De Laurentiis learned a lot the year. And you could tell. He went to get the best coach in the business. He went to win the title straight away. And right now, the way we're acting on Mercato is huge. So I'm very excited and looking forward. And like I said, I don't expect to win the next 10 games back-to-back, but I'm expecting to be like a diesel. And I can't wait for Kevin to get fit, because he still walk and jog on the pitch. But when he's on the ball, man, he's magical. So I can't wait for him to get fit.
Well, I think the similarities between Napoli and Liverpool, if you like, if you can compare the two, I think it's a double down tactic, right? Where you're on top and you just strengthen to get even better. So I think that's where they're similar. And I think Napoli certainly done that. My only concern is, from a selfish point of view, is that I was hoping that Lorenzo Luca would be given more opportunity in terms of his own progress to hopefully then benefit the Nazionale. But now with Rasmus signing and Lukaku obviously going to come back at some point, it may put him down the pecking order, which is not great for the Azzurri.
Adam, I don't believe that. I think Luka. First of all, I really like the way Luka played the first game at Maradona. Everybody criticized him because people watch the numbers. Oh, it's 0 goal, no good. But I saw him playing, and I saw him breaking the ice. I saw him maturing during the 90 minutes to the stage towards the end. He was doing back flick. He was holding the ball. Now, the guy is a big boy, but he's a very young age. Last year, still scored 14 goals in Serie A, which was a good numbers if you look all the other top scorer. So I think he will have his time. I think Conte knows. And, look this way. In the last 2 games, 2 Primavera players have debuted for Napoli. Vergara against Sassuolo and Ambrosino against Cagliari. And both of them are going to stay because Conte wants them to stay. The wonder kid that we got from Juventus next gen last week that I was telling you about, Conte already had him training with the first team. So I think Conte also...
Ambrosino, is he the one that was at Frosinone?
Yes,
Ambrosino?
that's from Napoli. Yeah, it's from...
Yeah.
It's a good play too. They done. And even Vargara did Serie B last year with the Regina, scored 6 goals, 4 assists as a midfielder. It's not a bad number for his first year in professional football. So I think Conte will play them.
You haven't brought up Gutierrez yet either, who's
just coming back from the injury.
Yeah. And he's going to be great. He's going to be great for depth as well. You've got a squad to compete on both fronts.
Yeah. And it's funny because a lot of people says, when you're gonna play your wingers, you got the Fab Four playing. We're not gonna play the Fab Four all 4 together all the time. Anguissa, Lobotka, McTominay, and Kevin De Bruyne. He had to start all 4 of them to get him. Especially play like De Bruyne needs to play more games to get fit. But eventually, Napoli will go back on the 4-3-3. So far we've been playing 4-1-4-1, but it's because the new players need to amalgamate, and also because Conte adapts. The beauty of Conte that I noticed last year, it's that he's not playing one formation. He's adapting against different opponent, different formation, and he changed the formation during the game, which I love it.
Yeah. Oh, hey, so let's move on from Napoli, please. We'll be here all night if we let Armando go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't even mentioned the other half of the purchase.
I wish we didn't fucking move on from Napoli, to be honest, man. But look, to be honest, I've actually managed to smile the last day thinking about Akanji playing for us, because I do think he's quite a good centre back. But the sideways move to get Benji Pavard out the door to Marseille, I don't mind it as much as other Inter fans do, because you can always smell when someone's finished mentally and physically simultaneously. And the way Benji Pavard kept getting injured and just wasn't stepping up to play unless it was a big fixture, unless it was a big profile fixture, always had me concerned. I know he was a bit of a C word leaving Bayern Munich, and you should really smell the signs, but something was wrong with this guy behind the scenes for a while, and we knew it when we were playing at the Club World Cup. And there was a photo of him that went online of him playing paddle. And then there were some people that were commenting like, oh, paddle's not a high physically demanding sport. Piss off. It is a high physically demanding sport. Very much so, especially if you're suffering from lower limb injuries. So as someone with an exercise science degree that did nothing more than pass every subject by the skin of my teeth, I know that paddle is a demanding sport on the lower limbs of the body. So you shouldn't have been playing it while we had Club World Cup fixtures and saying that you were injured. I do believe that Lautaro also was referring to him in some of his silly post-match comments that he made as a very weak captain on the day for saying these things. Opened up a can of worms that didn't need to be opened in the last 5 minutes before everybody went on holiday. But here we are today. There are a couple of positives that I will say about our market, because it's not fair to just sit here and moan and be a sook when a couple of things that the fans really wanted happened quickly. Marco Arnautovic and Joaquin Correa went out the door and they were replaced with Boni and Pio Esposito. Perfect. You literally cut the average age by 65% in that right there. And we know that we're going to get a better output from these attackers off the bench. We already have. What worried us most of all was, especially me, I need players that don't want to be here out of the club. And I've got my reasons. They are usually backed up with physical reasons. Hakan Çalhanoğlu has had the same niggling rectus femoris injury in that upper thigh muscle for so long. And now mentally he doesn't want to be here. He's twerking for Galatasaray. He's twerking for Fenerbahce. He wants to be back in the land of his people. It's pretty bloody evident. But we've kept him here. He'll go into every tackle with 20%. He's already conscious about protecting the longevity of the rest of his career. And he's just going to be a waste in a central position in the formation. We're going to suffer big time for this. I didn't like Christian Aslani, but we've let him walk out the door to Torino as well, meaning that we really don't have a like replacement for Hakan. Sulcic played very well in that position in the first game, but it's a throwaway fixture the first game when it's 5-0 against Torino anyway. Can Sulcic play that position every single time and do well? I hope so. Is he going to get that chance? Probably not, because while Hakan Çalhanoğlu is here, he will continue to start in that position and be a bloody waste in that position. So we will continue to rotate with Sulcic in the unpreferred role with Mkhitaryan. So there's your first flaw in what was meant to be Sulcic coming into the defensive midfield role, or what would have been even better, having an actual replacement for Hakan ready to go. Easier said than done. Apart from that, the market did not go great for us. I would have rated it probably a 2 or a 3 out of 10 because we lacked the central defensive signing to replace Acerbi properly. We definitely did not try half as hard as the fans expected to Lookman. In fact, that looks to be a fabricated story. Maybe if the Lookman story wasn't, teasing us with nothing at the start of the market, we wouldn't be sitting here so pissed off.
Anthony, can I ask you a question when you finish?
Yeah. Yes. Go for it. I am pretty much finished. There's nothing I could say now that every single person has not heard at least 3 or 4 times already on the channel.
Oh, you were about to speak about Lookman. My question is a little bit more wider. I'm really surprised. Whatever you said about Mercato, I agree with you. Even if I didn't see enough Pavard playing. A few people say that Pavard is better than Asanji. I can't tell. You'll be watching Inter more than me. So if you reckon Pavard was on the way out, I have a full of trust on your words because you're quite honest on your comments. But I'm surprised about the way intercommunication went on for the whole post-season, post-Champions League, during the World Cup and during the Mercato. And most important, Marotta, a guy that has always been at the pinnacle of the communication. He never said anything out of the line. He never speak up about Mercato. This year, if you think about the last 3 months, all his communication have been a mess, starting with the Champions League and World Cup when he started talking, when he is pretty much exposed to Çalhanoğlu. He was the one say, the Capitan was talking about Çalhanoğlu. Who does that? And then he goes on TV and says, we are dealing to buy Lookman. He spoke about Leone for months. That's not Marotta. What's wrong with him? What happened to him?
And then he kept really picking up the microphone before our last 2 fixtures, always talking about the market as well. And that's why I said, mate, if the market's closed, then close your mouth. We're sick of hearing it. So, but what did I tell you, Armando? I've been saying this as well for a long time. As soon as Suning left, Marotta's way of doing things in general left with them. You don't have a way of doing things anymore. He's operating in a position that he's never operated in before. He's the president of the club. He's not the sporting director, even though he's overseeing the directing of operations. The guy knows that his way of doing things is done. Like I said in the chat the other day when I forget who put the list of the free agents. I said, mate, if Marotta was allowed to do his thing, 4 of those players on that list would be playing at Inter this season for sure. No doubt about it. There'd be a wage bill combined of 25 to 30 million, 3 or 4 of those free agents. And you know what? We'd be suffering in the future for it. But these are the signings that probably would help us get over the line this season to another.
His communication shocked me. His communication shocked me.
But he's in a position where he's never been in before, so he needs to lie the way he's never lied before as well.
Yeah.
What are you saying, Adam?
What is the reason? No, I was just going to say, what is the reason why the Turkish or the Turkish Federation or the Turkish League are allowed to extend their Mercato by?
I was going to ask you or Armando on this stream. I don't know.
No, pretty much, guys. I think anybody can decide their time. I don't think it is a particular line done by FIFA.
Could you imagine if the EPL, Serie A, La Liga, and the Bundesliga all had different windows? It'd just be a meat market.
I need to investigate. Maybe somebody in the chat. There's been going on a beautiful conversation in the chat. A few of them. I've been reading all your messages, guys. Maybe if anyone you in the chat knows why the Turkish league is still open, can let us know, guys. Maybe jump on Google and
surely there's a standard. There's a standard needs standard to bear where all federations need to abide by a certain date. And for some reason, the Turkish league is the one. There might be other ones too, but I guess the Turkish league might be the strongest out of all the ones that do extend. And that's the reason why players who don't get signed, who want to move before that cut-off, end up going to Turkey on loan or for a brief period, because we've seen so many players.
Çalhanoğlu is not gonna go to Galatasaray. Galatasaray Mercato has been destroyed by Osimhen. They went to drag and begging for money everywhere they could in order to reach the amount of money that De Laurentiis asked for Osimhen to the last dot, to the last minute. I don't think they're gonna go Mercato again, even in January, and I don't think they have enough fund for the next summer Mercato, because they came to us asking us to pay Osimhen in 5 years, 50 million, 5 million. They were dragging, and they even struggled to find the bank guarantor letters in order to get Osimhen off Napoli. Yeah. So,
and I think Luis Enrique is a good signing. Again,
our fans don't see it. I'm willing to give him a much better chance because he's a flary wide player. He's going to be a moments player. He's going to be a confidence player. But a lot of our fans are criticizing him already. Why do you say that?
Let's revisit this. I've seen a little bit of him, and I like him. Let's revisit this conversation probably in about 5 or 6 match days, and we'll see what our assessment is of him then. If he does get a good chunk of playing time, because I like him. I think he's a good player.
Yeah, I like him. I hope you're right.
Stankovic, he sent on loan to Venezia. Is he the son of Dejan, or is he?
Yeah. So you're thinking of the goalkeeper though, because we've also got Stankovic on loan to Club Brugge, who's more of an attacking progressive midfielder who's killing it, and to be honest, would have been the perfect player that we could have used off the bench for rotation wise. And then again, so could have Valentina Carbone, but he's at Genoa, so sempre Serie A, sending your talents away to do well elsewhere until they come back and you sell them for a shitty price. Let's move on from Inter before we get depressed. I like the way I did your slide. Looks gangster. So does Wesley. He looks gangster.
Does look gangster.
I'll keep the mic on you. Well done. 6 points out of 6. Exactly what the doctor ordered, because Gasperini has proven that if you can go through his military camp, if you can go through his Navy SEAL process, then you'll be fine. Inter didn't survive it. It was 4 fucking match days, bro. We just shipped him out the door. We were like, you reckon you could change the 3-5-2? He's like, nah. And we're like, all right, fuck, no worries, man. See you later.
Yeah, we haven't seen that
he's doing all right so far. What are you saying? And what are you saying about your market? I didn't include much more on that because you did have a quiet one in terms of the rest of the squads.
Yeah, no, we did. I think in terms of Gasperini, they put out an interview yesterday where it was reported that Gasperini and Masada had a bit of a bust-up after deadline day because we're expecting 1 or 2 more new signings. I guess to quash those rumours, Gasperini got on the front foot and did an interview with the official channel, YouTube channel yesterday, where he didn't say they didn't have a bust-up, but he did say that, we just couldn't get a couple of deals over the line. It's better to keep that money than spend it on players that were second or third choice and keep that money up our sleeve for January. I still think if you look at the squad, I think we're one midfielder short and probably one wide player short, because I don't think Baldunzi is in Gasperini's plans. I like the signing of Tsimikas from Liverpool. He's a good backup to Angelino. And like I said last week, it's been a while since we've had some decent players playing in the fullback role on both sides, and I think we got that now. With Wrench, Wesley, Angelino, Tsimikas, Salik can play there as well. So there's 5 players for 2 positions that can easily fill the role. So I'm happy with that. Going down the list, Leon Bailey is an interesting one from Aston Villa. I haven't seen him yet. Got injured in his first training session with the club. Roma doing Roma things. But yeah, he's one to come back.
So I had one question. I wanted to ask you because I wasn't bothered to research it myself today. Did you keep Kumbula on your books or did you loan him out again?
No, he's gone to where'd he go?
He was talking to Malaga, wasn't he, or Mallorca? One of those two.
He's at Mallorca on loan.
There you go. So he did actually go to Mallorca on loan.
Yeah, he did.
You remember he was one of those signings that all the Bacalas in Italy was like he's the next best thing, and he was having like 40 million price tags on him. Do you remember Armando?
He's another Regani.
All right. That seems like only yesterday. And now he's off to Mallorca again on another loan.
Yeah, never really
there you
shone
go.
for
I thought he might at least come back because the last time he had any sort of form would have been at the start of Mourinho's tenure with you guys. Yeah,
and he sort of dwindled from there. Came with a big price tag too from Verona. So yeah, disappointing. And more money just flushed down the drain, which we tend to do from time to time, most of the time. Yeah, so look, again, Ferguson looks good. I don't know what Gasperini's opinion is of Dovbyk, and Dovbyk for me is like watching Bambi at the moment.
I think in January is when you guys will entertain another deal for Jimenez or something. Like I can smell a striker or a forward deal happening for you guys in January with Dovbyk out the door.
Can I ask a question?
It's a time thing.
Talking about striker, first of all, I really look forward to see Roma. To me, Roma would be definitely back in Champions League this year. So
definitely,
I think it'll be top 4. Simple because listen, you're gonna eliminate. I don't have big trust in Milan. Okay. Even if I put Inter, Napoli, and Juve ahead of Roma, which other team could be ahead of Roma? Honestly.
It's still early days, though. I mean...
No. Listen, we talking... Listen, if I was so smart, I'll be $1 million having all this prediction every year. We're just talking on paper now. But I really see Roma with the coach. I got lots of... I dislike the guy as a human being. Like, I will never go out with him, have a coffee with him. If I see him, I'll turn across the road the other way. But, man, the guy is a coach. The guy knows how to coach. He knows how to get lemon juice from a rock.
The thing that...
And for the first time, Roma had a Mercato spread out across all the position instead to put all this hype in one side. Like when
very young. It's a very young squad too, Armando. The average age of the squad's gone down considerably. What gives me confidence, though, is that, like Conte... Gasperini's got a knack of being able to squeeze every single ounce out of a player to make them better. So even the average players in the squad, I think, will either be contributors or play their part at some point to hopefully get us back into the Champions League.
One thing I did not understand from Roma and Milan, to be honest, because none of you guys went over Simeone or the Napoli striker they left. Simeone is definitely way better than Dobic or the Bacala they play for Milan.
I also thought Simeone would get one more bigger move in the country or elsewhere beforehand. It seems like he's been, and you know what? Also, it seems like he was very reluctant, not reluctant. So he was happy to just play the bench game for Napoli as well. Doesn't seem.
He loved to be Napoli. He was very, I think he just had to play.
I think if we were going to go for someone like Simeone, we would have just kept Shomurodov. They're similar players. So the fact that we moved on Shomurodov says to me, why would you sign Simeone? You're going for a like for like. So Ferguson's.
Because I think the swap
better
there
version.
was talk with Milan. There was a stupid swap.
Yeah,
It's.
But yeah, look, great.
What is based on Roma? I've got high hopes for them this season as well. I think they'll play some good footy.
Yeah, and like I think the coming of age of Mati Soule this season will
be easier this year.
We'll be talking about by season end.
What did you end up paying for him in full? It was like 30?
28 or something, wasn't it?
That's a good price. In this market, that's a good price.
Yeah. And he fits. Like, I think I just see him being a really good culture fit for the club. Like, we've had a lot of Argentinians over the years. Obviously integrated well last season with Paredes and Dybala already there. Who had a lot of experience in Italy, obviously. I think he's going to be the shining light for us this season. Yeah,
nice one. I'm conscious of time and I'm starting to get hungry, so let's start to wrap this up soon. What I wanted to cross to one of you boys again, Armando, or either or, you'll both know this way more than me. Something has gone on at Lazio in the off-season. I was familiar with it at the start because, we all saw the headlines where Maurizio Sarri signs for the club for his second tenure and basically finds out about 7 working days later that, oh yeah, shit, we've got a massive transfer ban incoming and you're blocked. Not even slightly. You can't even dapple in the market. So whatever you've got in the shop right now is what you're working with until next season. Armando, can you elaborate a little bit more? Even Adam, both of you, I'm not too sure. That's where I stopped looking at it. And then Armando was kind enough to remind me about 2 weeks ago that no, Anthony, their market's done. It never even started.
Yeah. They have a completely ban even on the free transfer agenda. Now, I know that Lotito applied saying, if I pay this amount of money now, can I sign up transfer at least a free agent play? But so far, the response has been negative. So they have to wait until January to be allowed to sign up somebody. And it's tax related. So it's a big thing. When it's tax, you can muck around. Yeah. That's how far as I know.
You can't even appeal it, Anth, because by the time the appeal would have ended, it would have been the end of the transfer window. So
yeah, exactly.
It's a double-edged sword with that. So the players they brought back in are players that they've had out on loan. Cancellieri, Cataldi, players like that. And the players they've sent out are the younger players that they sent out on loan. So it's interesting. A couple of injuries to key players or suspensions, and it's going to be a downward spiral for them, which is fantastic to see, might I add. But look, how bad are Verona, though? How bad are Verona? They've lost 4-0 against them. So,
yeah, we'll look at some of the smaller teams in the next few weeks, definitely, because like I said in the off season, I want to make that a big part of the show. Also talking about the other clubs, but
what I'm spewing about is that we're playing them early in the season, so the derbies I think match day 4. I would have liked it to be say match day 10 or 12.
We go to Turin. We go to Turin as soon as we get back from international break on match day 3. So some big games early.
Lots of good games in the next 3 or 4 fixture.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move on to Napoli and Atalanta. Let's just be really, really quick about it because it was meant to be the guy on the right all along that was going to be sold. And then out of nowhere, they got a phone call and Saudi, they don't need to make more than one offer, do they, boys? They came in with a bag that even the boys in Bergamo didn't see coming, and they just went, yeah, take it, man. Don't even look twice. Matteo, who nobody knew who he was a year and a half ago, and nobody's going to remember him a year and a half from now anyway. And that's no disrespect to him. He had a great season, a really good season, and I respect him for being able to back that up at a couple of different clubs consecutively, because when you look at his trajectory of inflated transfer price, you'd think it belongs on PlayStation. You'd look at it and go, what the fuck? That's bullshit. That couldn't have happened. And then you're like, nah, that legitimately happens across different clubs. They banked on Retegui. They've kept Lookman. I reckon they'll let Lookman go in January, not to winter, abroad. And now it's just buy pieces for Ivan Juric, right? And you just can't expect this to work. Although I will say I was a fan of Antonio Sanabria for majority of time at Torino, and I thought that he should have got a lot more time on the pitch under Juric, ironically enough. And here he is again, Mitsika.
Yeah.
And of course, Zalewski gave us a nice little profit, which now we're all shitty about because he was one of the only players that could beat a man one-on-one. But whenever I feel guilty about that, I just think of the sweet sounds of Adam telling me he's dog shit, which he's done multiple times, and it makes me feel a lot better.
He is.
Yeah, there's Atalanta's market for you.
Again, we spoke about it last week. Like the Juric thing is just like, I still can't believe it, to be honest. Like, don't know what they were thinking. And really, they haven't signed much. They've got a disgruntled player who's by far their best player. So I think we've finally come to the end of that run, the amazing run and the amazing football that we've seen over the last few years. Attributed, of course, to Gasperini, but yeah, I think Atalanta are back to being a mid-table team.
Yeah, right.
Finally.
What about you, Armando?
I think I said enough last week. I think Atalanta. Actually, I predicted Atalanta to be over 2 years ago, so they already surprised me last year. But it's that whatever they did this year does not make sense from the appointment of the coach, from the Mercato they're doing. It's weird. I don't make sense. I need to see them playing to try to get sense to what they did. Regarding Lookman, I think it was more of a proud thing from the president, Percassi, than anything else. It was his decision to say, no, you're not going because I'm the boss. I decide. That's nothing to do with the Mercato, the coach, or anything. It was a very decision by the president. Sure, I go Bulls. I'll tell you when you're going, where you're going, when I want you to go. But that's outside. It's like an external story in the whole this mess that is Atalanta this year. Even the buy of the player from Inter just bought him for 6 million. Then Atalanta went there and dropped 40 million. Could have dropped 10. I think Inter would still have sold him, you know. You know what I mean? It's weird. Once again, why Atalanta didn't go for Simeone or for Raspadori? I don't understand. It does not make sense.
Even when you can't keep the players, you still want to see him running around in Serie A. It's so selfish, Armando.
No, but because I'm thinking they go around spending all this money looking for players that were there available. You know?
Yeah, it was a weird. Raspadori going to Atletico, I thought was
It's a weird move that nobody else in Serie A came from Raspadori.
Yeah, it is.
So is Simeone is vinculato, or is he signed somewhere?
No, Simeone went to Torino. He's basically the perfect.
Yeah, we saw him to Torino.
I missed that one.
Yeah, he went to Torino. Yeah, he looked very upset match day one when he conceded 5 goals. He was like, shit, I've really come from being champion to this. Life comes at you fast. Last two slides, and then we'll wrap it up. Como did lose on the weekend, but, you know, decent squad coming together. Decent market. Sergio Roberto added as well for a little bit of experience. I don't think we need to stay too much on them because we had a really big chat about them last week. So maybe we'll leave Como for another few weeks and just see where their results take them. This one made me smile, bro, because this is a personality that we can all get behind as, like, you know, there's always one in an era of football that doesn't eat well, doesn't train well, goes out, parties hard, sleeps with a bunch of women, everyone loves him. But the thing is that they're usually Brazilian and really, really likable for different reasons. That's Jamie Vardy, and he's extremely likable for all the right and wrong reasons. And he's here in Cremonese. He looks so happy to land. He goes, "Fuck yeah, a little bit of extra buzz for my career." You guys think he'll bring something exciting to the league?
Don't worry about Shomurodov or Simeone. I think the conversation definitely shifted. I would have loved to see him as like a backup 9 at Roma. And having thought about it later, I thought, geez, maybe Ranieri missed his chance to get his boy back at the club. So I would have loved him. Like I still think he's got something to offer. He hasn't lost any pace. Like if you watched him last season in the Prem, it's not like he's lost pace or anything. It's just that clubs in the Prem are that cashed up that they need to move on from players at some point. So, I would have loved him at Roma.
Man, I tell you what, even at Napoli, this guy off the bench, last 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is Dario Ubner 2.0, guys. Dario Ubner 2.0 is the upgrade, the English version, man. I'm looking forward to see him. I was happy that he came to Cremonese. And I think he's one of those players, regardless the age, is going to be interesting to watch. And a team like Cremonese, having a superstar like him, even in the older age, it's a great thing.
Yeah, well said, man. Well said. It's going to be an exciting season. And to that, what I said before, there is Antonio Sanabria also playing for Cremonese now. So it goes
What a
full
great
circle.
kit. She's got a nice kit.
They do have a nice kit, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unreal.
nice one. That's it for this week. Boys, it was really, really nice to be able to cram in pretty much an entire Mercato talk into one episode, into 55 minutes. I really, really enjoyed it. Thank you to the people in the chat. We've still got 47 people here right now, and about 15 of them are coming from YouTube, which is very, very nice. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you very much to Armando. Have a lovely rest of your week, brother.
Thank you very much, Anthony, for having me again. Adam, was always nice to see you. I think it's the first time since we start this that I really talk high about Roma, which is surprising because I like Roma. but I really like the Mercato this year. Normally, I'm getting too soft, maybe. But I really want to thank the people in the chat, guys. The chat, it's entertaining. I wish the chat stay on even after the show so I can read all the message. Thank you, Ian, Care. I don't know you guys, but I feel like you're family now. And Zach, they all went to check about the Turkish league. So thank you very much, everyone.
Hey, everyone, for all subscribers, we will be running a competition in a couple of weeks for a signed Armando Napoli shirt. So keep watching and keep subscribing because there you go.
Wow.
All the way from Melbourne, a signed Napoli shirt, unwashed.
I'll give them a free Napoli club membership as well.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, and thanks, Ads, for coming as well, man. We'll see you back for the next edition, hopefully.
No worries, boys. Always a pleasure as always, and Forza Roma.
Beautiful. Like I said last time, guys, I can't promise that there'll be a panel every week, but I will do my best to make sure that there is an edition of Zona Calcio out every single week. Okay? Thank you very much. We will see you soon. I actually think it's hilarious how we went this whole episode without talking about the national team, and we're not even going to